Hi Flosstube friends, it's Sheri, ColoradoCrossStitcher. Welcome to my second Flosstube. This is 2.1, so if you watched my first one, you know I was on 1.3 before I got to publish it due to technical difficulties and a haircut situation. So anyway, this is 2.0, and thank you so much for the warm welcome to Flosstube. It's been so much fun to read your comments. I so appreciate you guys sharing my channel and the thumbs up and the subscribes and the comments, and I had the best time talking to you guys in the comment section, so that was super fun. And I started Flosstube, like I said in my last one, to make some new friends and to have some motivation to get some finishes done, because I am more of a process stitcher, meaning I enjoy the process of stitching more than the product, the finished product. Not that I don't like the finished product, but it's the process of stitching that I love so much. So I feel like I've made some new friends, and I feel like I've finished some things today that I want to show you, so that's fun. But first I want to say thank you so much for the shout outs from Pam and Steph, Just Keep Stitching, and Stephanie, Nini. I'm going to put it in the box below. Stephanie, thank you so much. You were my very first shout out, which was super fun. Lori from Mischievous Stitches, and Lisa from Kindred Stitcher. So you guys, thank you so much. It's so nice to have you help spread the word about this new thing that I'm doing. So all right, today I want to share some finishes with you, some fully finishes, some starts, some haul. I have a question of the day for you that I'd love your opinion on. And also I'm going to share some hand exercises, hand and shoulder exercises that we have used at the yarn shop that I own. We've done some things with that just to help, because knitters and stitchers have muscle tension in your neck and in your hands, and so these are some great exercises to help you loosen up a little bit. So I thought I'd do that. And then I have 3 giveaways today, because I thought it would be fun to do a giveaway for each time I reach another 1,000 subscribers. And we're at 3,000 subscribers, which is just mind-boggling to me. So I have 3 different giveaways to do, and I have the giveaway for the person who won for the last time. So lots of fun things. There were a couple questions in my first video, and I tried to answer all the questions as they came in. But just in case you guys were wondering and didn't leave a question, one of the questions was the Reno Parolin pattern book. Where can you find that? And this is such a cool book, and I'm sad that it appears to be out of print, I guess. I bought this on Amazon 2 years ago. It was under $20. I'm sure if you find it now, it's going to be a crazy, ridiculous price. So a couple of you asked again what the name of the book was and where to find it. So again, I found it on Amazon. And then you asked where to find the Christmas project pattern from Reno Parolin that I'm working on. And I got this one at Bush Mountain Stitchery online. I had to wait a little while to get it, but it came through just fine. When I Google Reno Parolin, there are quite a few different links that you can find patterns of his, including a store in Italy. So I'm sure they have a lot of them. So anyway, that was one of the questions I got. And another question I got was, what is a dough bowl? And that's a good question. One of the things that I did when I got back into stitching was I thought I was going to make the one big houses of Hawk Run Hollow piece. And I showed that on my first video. And I was going to make a lot of little small pillows, pin cushions, whatever you want to call them, for a seasonal dough bowl. And so this is my dough bowl, and it's basically a wooden bowl that they used to mix dough in back in the day. You can find antique ones, you can find great reproduction ones, so there's lots of dough bowls to be had. I usually fill it with something like this and then put my pin cushions or my little pin pillows on top. I wish I could show you the one I have at the shop, my yarn shop, the Loopy U. I have one that is a dough trough, and it is literally this long. You can't even see out of the screen. I think it's 4 feet long, and it's about this wide. It's narrow, and we of course display yarn in it, but it's the coolest bowl. It would be really fun for bigger pillows if I ever wanted to do that. But for right now, it has pretty yarn in it. So that's what a dough bowl is. And then I also had a question on this little shelf thing that's usually back there in that corner. And I just picked this up in an antique store, and I think what it is a little teacup holder. I think it's a corner, like a corner cabinet, not really a cabinet, but a corner shelf. And I think people used to put their favorite little teacups on it. And I bought it honestly because anything that's this beautiful robin's egg blue color I buy. I just love that color. And then I thought it would be really fun to show some smalls on that. So I have 3 smalls on here, and I brought the patterns for 2 of them. So this one was fun to do. And I believe, yes, it was a kit from a Silver Needle kit group club that I was a part of. And I think I just saw this is out now. Little House has it out for sale too. So it was a kit for the club, which is why I finished mine exactly like the pattern. And now you can purchase it. And then the next one is a blackbird. Now, honestly, I made this pillow a little too small because the top of the head almost disappears. So that was a lesson learned. There was a lot of little stitching to have the top head disappear. And that is Garden Club Series 1, Basket of Cherries. So that was a really fun one to do. And I love having it in a little pillow. And I don't remember what fabric I used for that. And then the top one was a pin cushion. Was it made to be a pin cushion? I can't remember. That I got at Shepherd's Bush Retreat last year. And it says on it, I put Home Sweet Home on it. It said Shepherd's Bush Retreat, and I wanted a little house saying to go along with the cute house. I don't know that this is out yet. I don't think I've seen it in a book. And I buy all the Blackbird books because Brenda and Laura say that's a rule. You have to buy all the Blackbird books. So I buy them all, and I don't think I've seen that. But I have another finish that came from that same time to show you. So I think those were the main questions that I got. I did try to answer everybody in the comments. So if I missed a comment from you or missed a question from you, feel free to put that in this one, and I'm happy to answer that. Okay, let's get on to some fully finishes. The first one is also one of my giveaways because somehow I ended up with 2 of the same pattern. But it is Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street. I think it's an older pattern by Plum Street, maybe not. And I framed this using a frame from Hobby Lobby. And I picked a frame. You can see it's all dinged up. I really wanted it to look rustic. And I think that goes really well with the pattern. And I love how it turned out. I did leave the little easel on it so I can either stand it up. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to hang it or stand it up, but it was really fun to do. I love the colors. I love the quilt block stars going across the top. And I did this on cali cloth. Now, if you were a stitcher in the 80s, do you remember cali cloth? I think it's a 20 count fabric. And it used to be one of my favorites. It just came, well, all the fabrics back then came in really basic colors, but it's just this really beautiful ivory off-white look. It's kind of a rustic fabric, and they don't make it anymore. I even tried Googling it when I got back into cross-stitching to see if I could find it. So this was my last piece of cali cloth. It was fun to do. So that is finish number 1 that I just framed. I finished it, probably 2 years ago, but just framed it. So thank you for the motivation, Flosstube. The next one that I finished a while ago, but just framed last week, so I could show you, is Simply Autumn by the Drawn Thread. And I did buy all 4 of them. And I don't know if you can see this or not. Maybe I'll try and take it out. Sorry, crinkle. They show it all in one piece. in addition to also being able to do it individually. And I love that look, all of one piece. But I decided to do mine individually and just swap it out. I'm not really thrilled with my finishing here, but here you are. I've decided that I am not a finisher, and I am going to be sending things to be finished to people who are really good at it, like Faye Rigsby and Vanna, the Twisted Stitcher. There are plenty of people who are good at this thing. I am not. Here's another case in point. I am not. And that is this little box. Again, this was one of the kits that I got at Shepherd's Bush Retreat, which if you have to pick a retreat, the Shepherd's Bush Retreat is amazing. I've been to 2 Silver Needle retreats, and I guess Shepherd's Bush, I guess those are the only 2 I've gone to, 3 total. So, and I loved it. I went to that Shepherd's Bush and I thought, I am never missing this again, because I felt like I just got so much for my money. It's a little more expensive, and I don't go to multiple retreats in a year. I try and do 1 a year, none this year, so I'm going to book that 2 next year in my head. And it was just so much fun. You check in, you get a little kit to work on the check-in afternoon, and then you have a gathering that night, and they show all the class projects, and you get another project kit. And I just felt like every time I turned around, they were giving us something fun. And we had a great dessert one night. We had a great banquet on the last night, and we got a pair of Dovo scissors, which if you know anything about scissors, Dovo scissors are amazing, as our parting going away gift. And it just, I felt like it was really worth every bit of money, and I learned a lot, and I met some great people. So if you have a chance to do a retreat, I highly recommend Shepherd's Bush. But do make sure that you sign up right away, because it sells out typically, I think, within a few hours. So I always have the alarm on my phone and ready to jump into it. It's every other year. It was supposed to be this year, but of course COVID, so it's going to be next fall of 2021, October. So if you get a chance to go, definitely go. So this was, if you've ever taken a class with Barb and Alma, they like to do some kind of a finish project in their class. So we did these paper mache books, I think they said came from Hobby Lobby, because they had to stop at different Hobby Lobbies or Michael's, one of the 2, across the country as they were coming to the retreat to pick up as many of these as they could. So this was the piece, and you know, honestly, I thought I saw this piece somewhere available, but I couldn't put my hand on it today. So if any of you know if this piece is now available and what book that would be in, let us know. Here's another example. I'm not going to show it to you again, but it's another example of next time I'm sending this out to somebody who can professionally finish it. All right, next I have some finishes that aren't fully finished yet that I've been working on. Some of these I showed you last time as they were in process. So remember, I showed you this one and asked you if it was okay to use silk on a pincushion, and then somebody wisely pointed out silk is sturdier than cotton anyway, and I know that from yarn. So I did make that. Let me move this so I can hold it up on this so you can maybe see it better. So I made that, and that is done. Let me look this up. That one was done on, let's see, 32 count Belfast Country Mocha, although I think it was 36 count, not 32. This one has beads on it, and I decided not to use the beads. It calls for beads, and the beads come with it. Decided not to use the beads. I just did colonial knots in place of the beads. So that one, okay, I can't decide what to do. I'm going to put the other one on here because I also finished this one. And again, I did use that red Belsois tulips. I think I used Blue Lagoon was the blue one, and Tulips for the red one. And same fabric, but I used one side of the fabric for the blue and the other side for the red. So one looks a little more primitive than the other. Let me see if you can see that. And so I haven't decided yet how to finish it. That red one has a little button on it that was included with the pattern, and I did put the little heart button on there. Let's see if I bring it back. You can see the fabric a little better. I haven't decided how to finish it. I originally thought that I was going to make pillows, little pincushion pillows out of them. And then I thought it might be fun to do kind of a flat fold and have one on each side of my mantle in the month of September, because ABCs are kind of back to school, which led me down the path of, if I do that, it would be fun to have a flat fold or a little framed project on either side of the mantle for each month. So there's a chance to go shopping again. So I haven't quite decided how to finish it. So for now, not finished, but on my list, and gonna think about it. All right, the next one is something that I showed you also from a class at Shepherd's Bush, and this class was with Jeanette Douglas. And I think I mentioned that a lot of Jeanette's classes, she gives you a kit with silk. And what I loved about this one is it had 3 different kinds of silks: Gloriana, MPI, and something else. So it was a chance to try 3 different kinds. Now this is the pattern, and I didn't really want to do the whole pattern, but I'm kind of sad to say that I really loved stitching with silk. Remember how I said last time I didn't know if I would like silk, and it was okay that I didn't like it because silk was a little pricey. I loved stitching with silk. That is a slippery slope, and I'm heading down the road on it because, wow. So the last time I showed this to you, that is not green fabric. It's showing up as green. It's not green. The last time I showed it to you, I just had like an arch of the greenery done. And so I finished all that I wanted to do on that pattern, which is the centerpiece. And then I just put that border around it, which I think I must have gotten from this pattern somewhere on there. And so I'm going to make a little pin cushion or a little pillow, not a pin cushion, probably a little pillow out of it. But I really had a good time stitching it. Let me see if I hold it up like this, if the color's better without the white flashing in the background. Maybe so. So super fun to stitch. Really liked silk. I've already sent an email to the attic to talk to them about getting silk for one of my new haul patterns, which I'll show you in a minute. All right, I think this board is flashing out too much, so I'm not going to use that. All right, the next one that I finished was this. I showed you I had done part of this. This was a whip on my last video, and I finished that one. And let's see if I can put this behind it maybe. There's the finish on that one. This is on Color and Cotton Frog Belly is the name of the material. And I did make a change on this. The reds in the called for DMCs were more of an orange red, and there were actually 2 different reds called for, and I just wanted to do that in a more blue red. So I swapped it out, and instead of trying to find 2 reds that went together, I just did all of the red in that pattern in a hand dyed. And it was, what did I use? Let me look up. I did that with Classic Colorworks Cupid. So that's the red that I picked. And doesn't that red just pop? I just think that is the cutest pattern. Barbara Anna Designs, she has so many whimsical, fun Oh my gosh, have you watched Lori Mischievous Stitches, her most recent video, or seen her on Flosstube or Instagram? Because she just finished The Fall by Barbara Anna, and I am very tempted by that. It is so beautiful. The colors are beautiful, the design is fun, and I haven't seen many Barbara Anna designs that I don't just love and want to have. So my question is on this one, pillow or frame? I'm thinking if I had a pillow, I could just pop it out at Christmas. And I think I mentioned in the last video, I am short on wall space here in our house because we live in a ranch and it's very open. Like, it's got open ceilings and not a lot of walls. We have one wall with a huge picture of aspens in our living room that Paul took, which is just stunning. And then we have a wall of family photos, and then I've got this wall behind me, which I don't think you can see in the video, but it has a kind of a mission oak, old window pane kind of a look. And I don't want to take any of those things down, so I've got to find a place to do a sampler wall because I really would love to do that. But that's what makes me think things like this, maybe because it's for the holidays, maybe have it done in a pillow instead of frame, as I'm just short on wall space. So that's another finish. And then this one, and you know, there are just some projects that it's sad when you finish them, and this was one of them. Sad and happy, you know, of course I'm happy to be done with it. You know, I'm going to get the board for that because I wanted to point out something on here. Salute to Abigail by Blackbird Designs. And that was out of this book. And I did make a change to that down in the bottom corner here. Let me open up the book so I can show you what it is supposed to be. So in here it says, let's see, A. Adams down in that corner. And I just decided to extend that motif that's down in the corner here. So I basically just repeated, I basically just repeated the motif that was already there and made it double tall. And it was so much fun to stitch. I was not a sampler stitcher when I got back into cross stitching in 2017. I don't know why. I don't think there were many samplers around back in the 80s, 90s when I was stitching. Or there probably were, I just wasn't clued into them. So I got back into it, as I said before, with Houses of Hawk Run Hollow. And then I thought, well, I'm going to buy a lot of little fun seasonal patterns to do dough bowls with, because I loved that idea. That was a new idea that was new when I came back into cross stitching. And so I got a lot of little patterns to do a lot of that. And then eventually I just started getting things like, you know, the Barbara Anna and things that are a little bit bigger, but not pin pillows or pillows, but not big projects. And then I just started seeing more and more samplers, and now I just want a sampler wall. I think that would be so much fun. I love the history behind samplers. That does relate to my question of the day, which I'm going to ask you in a few minutes when I'm done showing you this stuff. So I'd love your opinion on something. So anyway, this one I will frame, and I am also going to have that be the start of my sampler wall. It was so much fun to do. What I love about samplers is each little icon or each little part is a finish. You know, you feel like, well, I'm going to do this little one, and then it's a finish, and then you do, you know, this big thing and it's a finish. So there are little finishes all along the way, and I love that. I think it's just so fun, and it's so rewarding to have a lot of little finishes as you go. I haven't decided what my sampler wall is going to be about. I know some people love to do houses. Some people, I think Brenda and Laura just started doing little girls. There's a certain girl icon in a lot of samplers, and she's doing that. Carol Saltbox Stitcher, I think, does red houses, and I love houses, love red houses. So I don't know if I want to have a theme or if I just want to really experiment with different samplers or maybe different samplers from different countries. I don't know. It's going to be fun to figure it out, and it's going to be fun to go shopping. All right, and then I did a start. So I think I showed you this last time. Plymouth Sampler by Brenda Keyes. And I know a lot of you have ordered Brenda Gervais' new Mayflower. Is it a Mayflower sampler or is it also a Plymouth? I know it's to celebrate the anniversary of when they landed. So I had this already, so I thought, well, I want to do that. So I did start. I built a house, and that was super fun to do. And this is my first time on 40 count. So here's the thing. You know, I've done a lot of things on 25 count Lugana, one thread over one stitch, and I love the coverage that I get from that. This is one thread over two stitches on 40 count. I'm not in love with the coverage there. And maybe it's part of it has to do with it's a dark color, but I don't really love that. This Barbara Anna design that I did was two threads over two on 36 count, and I like the coverage, but it's almost a little too thick and bulky. So I've got to figure out. I don't love stitching on 40 count, but I do love the size, and I love the coverage a little bit. Don't love the coverage. I like the coverage better. This Abigail was 36 count mink, one upside down, 1 over 2, and at first I thought that coverage wasn't going to be good enough. I think it ended up fine. I did use Victorian Motto floss, so I don't know if that's a little bit thicker. I've got to find for me, and maybe if you, this is not the question of the day, but if you want to leave a comment, I would love that. If you have a certain thread or a certain, you know, be it a certain silk or a certain thread that you like to use that gives good coverage on 36 count with one strand. I would love to know that in the comments, because I do like stitching with one strand, but I just want the coverage to be good. So, and then, oh, here are the colors. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to tell you about this. So the reason I bought this sampler is because I loved that teal house. Loved that teal house. The whole reason I bought the sampler. And then after I did it, I feel like that blue is not quite as deep and beautiful as on the picture. I don't know if that comes through on the camera or not. But it made me think, next time I really need to pay attention to the flosses. I bought all the called for flosses, and I thought they were really pretty in on the thread keeps. But I didn't get as deep of a blue as I was thinking I was going to get, and I just didn't pay attention to it. I just stitched the house. So next time I want to go back and pay more attention as I'm starting to stitch, and if it's not the color that I fell in love with, I'll just swap that out. So it'll be fine. It'll be great. I'm looking forward to working on that more. And then lately I've been working on my Savior's Praise, which is by Kitten Stitcher. And I know I talked to you in the last video about how I often change things on patterns. I don't change things just to change something. I change things to make it a little more personal to me or my family or what have you. I didn't change much so far on Savior's Praise, but I'll let you know what I did change. So last time I had, I guess, the greenery in the basket in that corner done. So I finished out the flowers in the basket, and I did the birds down below on the trees. I did the 1, 2, 3. So I've really had fun working on that. And so what I did change in this pattern is that verse, and it's a hymn, and it talks about mothers, who from our mother's arms has blessed us on our way. And so I was trying to figure out what initials to put, because Teresa did design this with several initials up there. And I decided I wanted to use my daughter's initials, and then my initials, my maiden name initials, and I used everybody's maiden names. So since it talks about mothers, so I have my daughter and my initials and my mom and her mother-in-law and my mother-in-law and her mother and her mother-in-law. And again, all in their maiden name initials. And so that was kind of fun. And of course there's a mother there in the next to the basket, so I thought that would be a good way to commemorate all of those wonderful women that my daughter has in her life. All of the moms, grandmas, great-grandmas. And then when I have it framed on the back, I will add a card that has their full names and their married name and the relationship and all of that, which I thought would be kind of fun too. So I've got quite a bit more. I've got the house. I've got that verse down at the bottom. I've got the row of deer along the bottom. So I've got quite a bit more, but I'm having so much fun. This is done on 25 count 1/1 Lugana, and I love the coverage. So that's kind of like a 1/2 on 50 count, and that's my ideal coverage. So that's what I'm wondering, if you guys have some suggestions on maybe a good floss cotton or silk coverage that I can use on 36 count, which is my second favorite thing to stitch on after 25 count. I did look up how to do, what was the name of that website? I was going to look that up. How to do the sewing method on 1/1. And somebody mentioned that Nicole of Nicole's Needleworks did a video on that. And I also found a diagram. I'm going to link that in the box below, the diagram that I found, and I'll also try and find Nicole's video so I can link that too. Because one of my frustrations in doing 1/1 on 25 is when I try and do the sewing method, my thread slips underneath. And this new method has you go over one square, and so you're kind of looping back, and it locks the thread in place, and it's perfect. So I might just be doing 25 count 1/1 forever, I don't know. Okay, next I want to talk to you about my question of the day. So talking about making changes in patterns. And this first came up when I was doing the Sally Spencer sampler, which I had so much fun doing. This was the first sampler that I did. And I think it was Susie Reno who asked on Instagram, do you put Sally Spencer's name? Where is that? Sally Spencer's name, or do you put your own name? And that made me think, and I thought, well, there are going to be a lot of samplers out there that have Sally Spencer's name, but there's only going to be one that has my name, so I made mine with my name on it. And of course, family initials and all of that. I love how this turned out. I just framed it myself with a frame from Hobby Lobby, and I'm glad that I put my name on there. I don't know about this sampler, if it was a reproduction or if it was a new sampler. So here's my question of the day, and if you want to leave a comment, I would love your opinion on that. When you make samplers, and now that I want to get into making some more samplers so I can figure out a sampler wall or a sampler room in my house, do you leave the name of the person who designed the sampler, I guess? I don't know. I mean, they didn't all design them. Some of the samplers came from schools where they had the same samplers and the same looks. Do you leave the name of the stitcher on your sampler? Or do you swap out a name? Or do you do both? Do you find a way to leave the original stitcher's name on there and then put one of your family members' names? To me, I feel like I want to add in some of my ancestors' names and just kind of commemorate them in that way. I think that would be more meaningful as a wall or a room in my house. But I don't want to dishonor the original girl, age 7, 8, 9, 10, who did an amazing job on that sampler in the first place. So I'm kind of going back and forth. Or do I find a way to put both? You know, maybe include her name in a smaller section, or of course include her name on the back in the information. So that's a question I have for you. How about that? Do you always use the same name of the person, or do you swap it out? And again, the difference, or the thing that's kind of fun, is it makes it really unique when you change a pattern. If you have something you want to change it to, it really makes it unique to you. And that appeals to me. I really think that's kind of fun. So, question of the day, leave me a comment, let me know. All right. Now, another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today, and we just have this one other thing, and then I have some haul that I bought. And then I've got the giveaway from last time and the giveaways for this time, and then we'll be finished. But one thing I wanted to talk to you about today is hand and shoulder neck exercises for stitchers. Now, you know, when we stitch, we kind of look down, so the back of your neck can get a little sore, your shoulders can get a little sore because you're, you know, you've got your hands in like this. Of course, your hands are working on a small piece or small things, and so we did this at the shop, shared some of these exercises, and I wanted to share them with you. So these are just a few exercises. As with any exercise program, be careful when you do it. Do the exercises gently. You know, each of these is meant to do probably 10 times. It's good to do them before you stitch. It's good to do them after you stitch. So you're loosening up your muscles before you stitch, and then you're, you know, re-loosening them after you've held everything in check for stitching. So I'm going to show you some of these. I'm going to demonstrate, and I hope they're helpful to you because I've found them super helpful, whether I'm knitting or hand quilting or stitching. So the first one is to put your hands up and then put your fingers together and then apart. And when you put them apart, really stretch your fingers so you can feel a stretch in that. This is really important because since we do so much like this, it's good to spread them apart, hold them for about 5 seconds, and then put them back together. With my luck, that's going to be my picture on the video. So, together and apart, that helps you stretch your fingers. All right? And then another one to do is, and this seems counterproductive, but make a gentle fist with your thumbs out, not in here. Make a gentle fist. Don't squeeze, just make a gentle fist, and then open your fingers up. And then make a gentle fist and open your fingers back up. And this also reminds me, we had a chiropractor who was near our shop before we moved to our current location, and I talked to him about some of these exercises, and so some of these come from him, some of them come from just researching online. But one of the things I read, and I used to do this, is when you sleep, see if you can keep your hands and your fingers outstretched. So I sleep on my side, and I used to sleep like this. I'd tuck my hands under my pillow and sleep like this. And ever since I read that, I open my fingers up. So I'm not sleeping with my fingers curled up because I spend enough time doing that. So I tuck one under the pillow and one on top or whatever, and I have my hands opened up. So if you can think of that at night, that's good too. Okay, another one to do is fingertip touches, and this is you're going to touch your finger to your thumb, and then you're going to touch your middle finger to your thumb, and then your ring finger. And you'll probably feel a little bit of a stretch as you do them in your fingers. So this is just focusing individually on each finger, stretching and pulling. Okay, the next one you need a chair armrest for. So I'm just going to demonstrate it as if my arms were on let's see if I can show you, on armrests. And you just want to let your wrists drop. And then you want to bring them up and drop. And the thing about having them on the edge of a table or the edge of the armrest is you're not using this muscle. This is relaxing, and you're really just moving your wrist up and down. All right. And then another one is to rotate your arms. So have your arms up and then have your arms down. This doesn't, I don't feel a pull with this, but it's just working those muscles a little bit as you go turn them. All right, and then the last one for hands is, again, rest your hands on a table or arms of a chair and do this. So your thumb's pointing up, pointing back to you, and pointing up to the sky, ceiling, back to you, up to the ceiling. And again, that's just keeping your wrist limber. And you're going to do it and hold it, put it down and hold it. So that's good. Now, neck and shoulders. So neck, the first one is to drop your head so you feel a pull in the back of your neck, and you're going to hold that for 5 seconds. And then you're going to look back up, and then you're going to go down and hold it. Again, you should feel that stretch right in the back of your neck. And the next thing you want to do is you want to look right over the shoulder, and you'll feel a pull here and here, and you want to hold that 5 seconds, and then you're going to look left and hold that 5 seconds. Do those 10 times each. And then you're going to tilt your head sideways like this, like your ears going down to your shoulder. Hold that for 5 seconds. Again, you'll feel a pull on the opposite side of your neck, and you go the other way. Feel a pull here. Remember, each of these I'm just demonstrating once or twice, but you're going to do probably 10 times and hold. And then the next one is bring your shoulders up to your ears, let your arms dangle and hold, and then push your shoulders down and really concentrate on pushing your shoulders down. And that really stretches in here when you concentrate on pushing down, reaching up, and then pushing down. I think kind of helps to pull your head forward a little bit, because that helps you feel that you're actually pushing your shoulders down. And then the next one is kind of a set. So interlace your fingers and do this. And that's going to pull the backs of your shoulders. And then raise them above your head. And you're going to feel that in the backs of your shoulders as well. And then you can also put this behind your head and push your elbows out. And when you do this, you can concentrate on, you're not going to obviously pull your shoulder blades together, but you can concentrate on that, and that is the right movement, because that really helps stretch your chest, which, kind of gets, concave a little bit as you're stitching. So that really opens up those chest muscles. And then the last one is a little tricky. So you're going to take your one arm, one hand, and put it on your opposite shoulder. Let's see, I got to think this through. Right hand to left shoulder and look right. So the arm you put here, you're going to look over that shoulder. And you're going to take the opposite arm, put it on your elbow, and you're going to pull this way. Not hard, don't pull your muscle, but just enough that you can feel a gentle stretch go across your back. All right, then you're going to take your other arm, look to that shoulder, and then pull that one. And again, you'll feel that across your shoulders and in the back of your neck. So gentle stretches, hold them as you can, but it's just good for you. We do a lot of the same kinds of repetitions, and so it's just really good for you to be able to stretch those muscles before you work and stretch those muscles after you work. And then if you think about it when you're sleeping, and if you tend to hold your hands even lightly, think about if you can somehow open up your fingers so that at least during the night you've got that different position for your fingers to be in. Okay, now I've got a little stash, I've got giveaways, and I've got one giveaway from last time. So first, my stash. I got Misti's. I printed it in black and white. It is beautiful in color, but if you haven't purchased Misti Purcell's beautiful new pattern, it benefits her niece and nephew. Her nephew is going through some cancer treatments, and it is just a beautiful, it's red, so you can't tell that from my black and white copy. But I initially thought this would be really pretty in my bowl with those two new ABC samplers I did, but now I'm having second thoughts on how I want to finish that. So I did purchase that, and that is a download available on Luminous Fiber Arts website. And okay, so I have figured this out about myself. I can see something once and I think, oh yeah, that's pretty, that's not really my style, but that's pretty. I think I mentioned that with GGR samplers. I think that's pretty, not my style, pretty. Second time I see it, I say, oh yeah, that's that one GGR sampler, that's pretty. Oh, look at that house. That house on there is really cool. Okay, still don't buy it. Third time somebody shows it, I think, oh, that's GGR with that really cute red house. Pause, order. And that's what I did. Ordered my first GGR sampler, and I think Susie, Reno, was the final in this decision. But isn't that a cute little red house? Can you see that? I don't think there's too much glare. Cute little red house. Not so complicated. It almost reminds me of a little cabin like in the 40s or 50s. I don't know. I love this, and this is the one that I emailed the attic about getting the silk conversion. Oh, I cannot believe I like silk so much. Sad. The next one also, I believe, I saw 3 different times and finally decided, yeah, I need that. Sampler roll. I'm not sure if I'll make it into a sampler roll. In my mind, when I have a sampler wall, I want different sizes, and I kind of, when I do pictures on a wall, I offset them, you know, so it's kind of more like a collage of different things. And I think this would be a really fun one to frame in a long, narrow frame and add to a sampler wall. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. I did get fabric, weathered shingle, I think it is, which is kind of a gray. Is that showing up as a gray? I got that as a possible for, what is that other one I showed you that I was going to do? By Barbara Anna. You know, All Creatures. All Creatures, that's the one I got it for. So I'm going to do a floss toss and see if I like the colors on this. We'll see. So, oh, and then I got this little gadget, which is for measuring. Okay, let me show it to you this way. Measuring your corners, figuring out your fabric size. I think it's got some needle information on it. And that's by It's So Emma, which is Fat Quarter Shop, I believe. And so I thought that was a handy little tool. So I also got that. And then I got some flosses for some of the different projects I'm kitting up. So that is my haul for this time. And I'm really, really anxious to start some of these new things. But I'm also anxious to start some that I already have in my stash. So you know how that goes. All right, so giveaways. First of all, I have the winner. I did figure out how to do the random generator. I have not yet figured out how to make sure that that person is a subscriber. So Lizzie Johns, you may or may not be a subscriber, but you won this fun kit, F is for Friend, which is one of the main reasons I started a Flosstube channel, to get stitchy friends. So Lizzie Johns, if you can contact me, my email address is in the box below. I would love to send this fun kit out to you. All right, and then I have 3, let me find the other one. I have 3 giveaways this time for my 3,000 subscribers. And the first one is, and with each one I'm going to send along a Kelmscott needle minder. And Paula at Kelmscott Designs gifted me with some beautiful needle minders when I placed an order for my shop. And so I'm going to share that with you, share the wealth with you. So the first giveaway, and so leave a comment. I'll tell you the keyword. You can put all the keywords in your comment if you'd like. Please be a subscriber, and I will figure out how to figure that out the next time. So please be a subscriber, and please be over 18, because that's a rule. I'm not allowed to get your address from you unless you're over 18. Don't mention the word giveaway or contest, so the bots or the other people don't get involved in our contests. So this one is also a friend kit that I got in my Silver Needle Circle of Friends Club, I believe it was, and look at the gorgeous, let's see, I gotta see if I can cover up that pattern. Look at the gorgeous floss colors in there. Isn't that gonna be beautiful? And it comes with a little piece of velvet, I think, from Lady Dot Creates. So, and the charm, little acorn charm that you put on the front. So that's giveaway number 1. And what shall we say? Let's just use the word friends again, because it was lovely having all of you tell me you'd be my new friend, because you had to add that word for your comment for the first one. So let's do friends, plural, friends, if you're interested in this one. And then the next one is I have 2 copies of Cinnamon Stars, so I'm going to give one of those away. And I'm going to include this fun spider and spiderweb needle minder with that one. And if you'd like to be entered in that drawing, use the word cinnamon. I love cinnamon lattes. I love the smell of cinnamon. Cinnamon candles are my favorites. Anything like that. And then the third one is under here. And it's my Jeanette Douglas pattern. Now somebody should do this whole thing because it's just gorgeous, and I just did a little part. I did not use the beads, so I feel like the beads should still be included in here. I'm sure they are. So I'm going to give away this, and then I have a little birdhouse, bird and birdhouse needle minder to go with that one. And let's use the word flowers, because who can remember how to spell bouquets? Flowers. So we have friends, cinnamon, and flowers. And again, you are welcome to put all 3 of those words in, and you don't even have to make a sentence with them, because that would be a trick. You can just put friends, flowers, cinnamon at the very end of your comment. I'm totally good with that. So if you're interested in winning one of those next time, leave a comment. I love reading your comments. Again, thank you so much for the thumbs up you've given me and the subscriptions. I really appreciate the subscriptions, the notifications that you want to be notified the next time I have a video. That's just, it's so wonderful, and I so appreciate you guys. So, all right, that's it for today. I am anxious to get on with my next stitching, so I have more to show you the next time. And thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.